Hello and welcome back to another episode of Moonee Valley Voices, the new local podcast where we're shining a light on local people, local businesses, local stories. And today I'm delighted to be welcomed by Stefanie Carniato, the founder and CEO of Gratofy, a unique gift-giving platform launched this year in 2024. And with the holiday season fast approaching, what better time to get this wonderful local business owner in and here to talk about all things Gratofy. So welcome, Stefanie.
Oh, thank you, Matt. Thank you for having me. Really lovely to be with you. Appreciate the invitation.
No problem. So talk to us a little bit about your connection to Moonee Valley, because I know it runs deep, goes back to your sort of childhood days, and I know you've sort of gallivanted around the globe a bit, but let's go back to your local roots. Sort of what are your memories of Moonee Valley?
Yeah, thank you. So I grew up in East Brunswick, so just off Brunswick Road, and so I spent a lot of time in the local Moonee Valley area over the years. But I just have this really core sort of memory, like any time driving up Brunswick Road and you kind of get over the hill and you make it to Mount Alexander Road, you almost feel like you've crossed a border into like a whole new little pocket of Melbourne that feels kind of quite special and quite different to anything else that's around. So I spent a lot of time in the area, even if it was just like meeting friends on Puckler Street for countless coffees. Yeah. I think we used to go to Viva Cafe quite a bit. There was a menswear store. A gentleman called Jerry used to own. I'm actually not even sure if he's still there, but just like a very welcoming community. Loved sort of always being part of the area. And I've got quite a love for horse racing, so I have spent a lot of time at the Valley over the years. And also Flemington, of course. But the Valley seems to be my favourite track. Yeah,
the Valley, just down the road from where we're recording today. What are some of your memories of the Valley? Like, what's your love for sort of horse racing? Where's that sort of come from?
Oh, it's funny because it's not even necessarily that my family has like a long history of being, racing fans or anything. But I really just kind of love the stories that come out of horse racing and the sport in general. Like, I think there are some horses that have created these incredible, inspiring stories that kind of transcend the industry, if you like. Like your Far Laps and your Black Caviars and your Winxes. And my favourite Australian horse would probably be Might and Power. He's just an absolute warrior. So, who actually won the Cox Plate 98. But those stories. Like, that's what I really connect to when it comes to horse racing. I almost see them as human stories. Above and beyond horse stories.
And we'll talk a little bit about your career. We sort of touched on it off camera, but I didn't ask too many questions because obviously we want to get through it today. But you mentioned you lived in New York for 7 years. Can you tell us about, what you were doing in Australia before you moved and, what sort of took you over there?
Yeah, sure. So my career sort of has spanned, over 20 years now, but I was always sort of in branding and marketing in some way, shape or form. And so when I was sort of in my mid to late 20s, I decided to start my own marketing and branding agency here in Melbourne. And so I ran the agency here for 3 years, and then, I don't know, I sort of always had an itch to want to live overseas, and it probably took me a long time to pull the trigger on it, to be honest. But I sort of got to a point where I went, I wonder if I can do this. Like, I wonder if I can kind of take the agency to New York. And so I actually, I don't want to say it was on a whim. Like, I clearly put a fair bit of thought into it. However, like, I did kind of just pack one suitcase. I didn't have any friends there. I didn't really have any clients there. And I just sort of packed a suitcase and moved myself to New York and said, let's just have a crack and see if I can make it work. A very challenging move, no doubt about it. I've got a lot of respect for anyone that has a crack sort of for anything, whether it's starting a business, moving suburbs, let alone interstate or overseas. I think it takes so much courage to do it. I remember I probably rang home every day for 3 months going, what on earth am I doing here? So it was pretty challenging times, but luckily found my feet. And sort of was running my agency there.
Right. Okay, because it's such, like, even just as a tourist, it's an intimidating city. It's just so big, so many people. And, I just think, like, to take a business over there and basically, so you were still servicing clients back home, or you went there and were just looking for clients there? What was that like?
Yeah, so I did keep a couple of clients here in Melbourne through the move. and I was coming home sort of probably like once a year, sometimes twice a year, depending on if it was for work or for weddings or babies or other things, family occasions. But yeah, it was pretty tough. Like I couldn't find an apartment. You know, sometimes I thought, why would clients sort of, trust me, a girl from Australia, saying she knows what she's talking about in terms of branding and marketing strategy. But I was really fortunate and very, very grateful that, I had a couple of clients that really believed in sort of what I was saying and what the values of my agency, but also what we were able to deliver for them, what value we were able to add. Yeah. So once I sort of got my foot in the door and got the ball rolling, I'm very lucky that the agency grew and I was able to stay there for 7 years for sure.
Nice. It's a great stint. Maybe the accent gave them something to remember you by as well. As a branding feature, maybe that was something that helped you out. I don't know.
It's kind of true. Like sometimes people would say the accent was a bit of currency for sure. But I was also really taken back by how kind the New Yorkers were. Like I know that, I think everybody has their own experiences with New York. Or if you're in a new place, just tourists in general. Yeah. But I was always really surprised when I first moved. Of course, I didn't know anybody, so I'd often just kind of take myself out for dinner or go out for a drink and I'd just like perch up at a bar and you'd just get chit-chatting to locals or just random strangers. And a lot of the time, people would hear my story and I'd hear their story, but they'd be like, how can I help you? Who can I put you in contact with? Because I think in New York, everyone's sort of an implant of some kind or everyone's sort of taken a chance on something. So I was really surprised and taken back by how kind everybody was to try and help everyone out. Yeah. And then when I sort of started to find friends and, find local areas, local bars and things like that, they became family. So everyone sort of stuck together and helped each other out as much as we could over the years. So, it's an amazing experience.
And how much do you think that experience and what you sort of took from that experience has helped you in business, obviously with the agency and as we'll get to Gratofy now?
Yeah, I think it, definitely in terms of like resilience. Like there was nothing I learned more than kind of like what I'm made of, or when things get hard, it's a moment in time. Like believe in yourself, stay at it. It's going to be okay. Yeah. Because I feel like and I think in business and in life, like a lot of people have setbacks or experience adversity, and I certainly had a fair share of that over there, and in life in general. But I think, I think what it really, really taught me was just to keep pushing and keep believing in myself. And in the moments that I wasn't believing in myself, to make sure that I surrounded myself with people that reminded me to believe in myself. And so I'm very lucky to have, an amazing family and wonderful friends and mentors around me that, really helped me come back to centre a lot when I'm like, why am I doing this? I don't know if I can do this. And I'm like, you'll be right. You'll land on your feet. You know what you're doing. Yeah. So, just that resilience, that self-belief. Yeah. Because I need a lot of that right now, I'll tell you.
Yeah. So obviously you're in the throes of a new business now. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Gratofy and I guess where the inspiration for that came from. Yeah. And maybe just introduce the concept of Gratofy.
Yeah, will do. Thank you. So Gratofy is a gifting platform that gives people the gift of choice. And I came up with the idea actually when I was in New York. And I was in New York during COVID, and obviously like those very, very early stages of COVID. I think everyone has their stories, about COVID and what that was like for them. And New York being one of the first locations, the uncertainty was so high, the fear was very great for everybody. And I remember being in my, little one-bedroom apartment, during that time, thinking I just want to sort of gift something to my friends, my colleagues, my clients, just to say, like, I'm thinking about you. I hope you're taking care of your mental health. I'm thinking of you. And to be honest, Matt, I'm not like a great gift giver, or I wasn't a great gift giver, sort of over time. And so one of my go-tos is probably like a bottle of alcohol on the way to a party, or, I mean, I'm a bit of a last-minute gift. A bit of a last-minute gift giver. But I knew during COVID, like when I was looking for gifts for people, that during that time, people were either probably drinking a little bit more than they normally would, or they'd gone the other way and they kind of weren't drinking at all. So I went, I don't think that's going to be a very good gift choice right now. And I started to think of other gift ideas, like something for their home, whether it was vases or something for their bedroom or something for their kitchen. And
Yeah.
I went, given New York apartments are generally quite small, I'm like, would it match? Would it fit?
Yeah.
Is it just going to take up space? And I felt at a real loss of what to give people to say, I'm just thinking of you.
Yeah.
And I didn't think a gift card was going to cut it. Like, I just thought that's not quite the gift moment for that. And I just sort of had the thought, I just wish I could give people the gift of choice, but while still making it quite a meaningful gesture.
Yeah.
And so, I had the thought and then just sort of slept on the idea for 6 months. But it just wouldn't go away.
Yeah.
Like, it just kept stewing in my mind. And I don't know, there was a real spark in my belly that started to kind of light. And I went, oh, maybe I could try and build something. Like, maybe there's something here that I really need that I can't find. And I started doing a lot of research around gifting and how it hasn't really evolved as an industry for a long, long time. Like, the last probably big disruption, if you like, in gifting was probably the gift cards back in the 80s.
Yeah.
So I just started toying with the idea and went, am I going to build something?
Yeah.
Like, am I kind of going to throw everything now at something that I'm going to build? Because when I was doing the research, I found out some remarkable statistics, like, over $1 billion is held in gift card credit every year, just for Australians only. So if you can think globally, like how much kind of waste that is.
Yeah.
And like how many unwanted gifts go into landfill. Like, it's over 300,000 tonnes of gifts go into landfill every Christmas.
Yeah, right.
And I can't even fathom what that looks like.
Yeah.
But I know it's a lot.
Yeah.
I know it's a lot. So, so I had the idea. It just wouldn't leave me. So I went, I'm going to throw everything I have into it and try and put some gratitude back into gifting.
Yeah, and it's a really interesting challenge. Like, we've all had those experiences where, whether it's getting the gift for the person you think has everything or, not sure what to get dad for his birthday because you feel like, you've given him everything under the sun and, what are you going to get him now? Another bottle of something or... So this is really about, there's still... Because my understanding of the platform is still the effort of thinking of things that they might like and then letting them choose. So maybe just talk through what that actual process looks like as a customer.
Yeah, for sure. So exactly right. So with Gratofy, I think that one of the things that was really important to me and to us when we were building it out was we still want there to be an element of the thought that counts, not necessarily just send everyone to a platform and just choose
Buy
from
what you want.
choose from hundreds of gifts. So if I'm gifting something to you, like, I would still go in and choose 5 gifts that I think you'll like.
Yeah.
And then, I would browse through the gifts and you can choose it by either you can browse through price point or by gifting occasion. So it might be a housewarming, it might be a birthday, best Christmas gifts, maybe just a little thank you gift. Then I would just enter your details, your name, email address and phone number. So you no longer need to know where anyone is at the time.
Yeah.
Because when you are gifting, particularly around Christmas time, people might already be at holiday houses. They might, be in their offices. They might be in their homes. So we let them choose where they want it delivered. You would pop in the recipient details. You can write some personalised notes and some personalised messages, and we give people some prompts as well if they need some help of what to write in sort of a card.
Yeah.
And then that's it. You just have to choose 5 gifts that you think they'll like, enter their details, pop in your payment details and hit send.
And what's the experience like for the person receiving the gift? So they'll get an email or a text basically and it runs them through an interface or...
Exactly. So they will get an email or an SMS that takes them through a virtual unboxing experience, which is a little bit of fun. A little bit colourful, a little bit of fun. And then they'll be presented with the 5 selections that you think they'll like, and they get to browse through those selections. They, look at multiple photos. They can read the descriptions, really understand what they do want or what they do need. They would select the gift that they want, pop in their preferred delivery address, and then it's delivered to them straight away.
That's amazing. And what I really liked about when I saw your platform, so I sort of became aware of it through sort of mutual friends sharing your initial launch stuff on socials and stuff. But what I liked about it was a lot of gifting services are so corporate, around corporate gifting. And I know that you obviously deal in this space, but this had a really like personal touch, something that's much more appropriate for family and friends and not just, servicing clients, for example.
Yeah, thank you. Because I think that was really important. Like a really important thing to always sort of remember and keep top of mind, that gifting is supposed to be joyful and gifting is supposed to be quite meaningful. And I think one of the things about gifting is it's just never been harder to gift to somebody, because I think, gone are the days when potentially we were growing up where if you really, really wanted something, you'd wait for a birthday or you'd wait for Christmas and you'd get the gift you wanted, but there was that anticipation of the wait. Whereas I think we live in a world now, of this instant gratification. And if you just want something, you'll just jump online.
Even if you can't afford it, you'll have to pay it. Whatever, you'll just get it.
Exactly. So you just sort of jump online and, buy whatever you want or need. So, for not great gift givers like me, I find I'm always at a real loss. And gifting actually makes me quite anxious. And it stresses me out because I'm like, I don't want to, make a mistake. I don't want to get something for someone that they don't want because, they might think then that I don't know them very well, and sometimes that's not the case. You might know someone really well, but like you said about your dad, like, how many more bottles? Like I think every year I buy my dad a bottle of whiskey. And sort of it just helps make sure that somebody really gets something they want or need at the end of the day, but still obviously having that meaningful thought put behind it.
Yeah, and talk us through the corporate side of it, because I know that that's something that a lot of businesses do struggle with, particularly this time of year. It's something they either leave too late or, they just struggle with inspiration for what to do for their clients, how much should they spend on it. So talk us through the corporate aspect of what Gratofy does.
Yeah, thank you. We do have the corporate gifting side of the platform as well. The core difference between the family and friends gifting and the corporate gifting is, when corporates do have to gift to their multiple staff or multiple clients, there is a lot of admin and there's a lot of logistics that go around that. So for corporates, they are able to upload like a list of multiple people at one time. So you can bulk gift your choices.
Yeah.
So we help a lot of our corporate clients segment their list. Like they might say, we've got, these dozens of staff or hundreds of staff that, maybe it's in this budget that we're looking at gifting to, so we can help them curate selections to particular budgets, but then they can gift really easily to multiple people at one time.
Yeah.
And one of the things we're really finding with a lot of our the businesses we're working with is that what they can sort of learn about the people they're gifting to sort of on the back end of their gifting is sort of really important to build really great relationships.
Yeah.
So instead of, maybe, just as an example, giving everyone in the office a bottle of wine, like one of the things we're seeing is that more and more people are choosing not to drink or are drinking a little bit less. So people's preferences or dietary requirements are really changing. And sometimes things that you might not know or be aware of.
Yeah.
So still give them the choice of a bottle of wine. You can give them the choice of a gift hamper and a choice of a homeware or a desk lamp or something that might be quite useful to them. And then after the fact, you can see what everyone's chosen.
Yeah.
And you can start new conversations. And, we had a corporate client gift to their staff and, there was like a yoga mat in there and, some other things, but 68% of their staff chose a yoga mat.
Yeah, right.
And so that just kind of tells the company as well that your people really care about their health and well-being and what can we do as a company to support the preferences and, the lifestyles of the people that are working so hard for us.
Yeah, so it gives businesses a whole new insight into either their customers or their employees and, maybe during the year if they want to do some surprise and delight type stuff, they'll actually know what people are interested in and that sort of thing as well.
Yeah, exactly. And we're using it. Yeah, we've got a lot of clients using it for sort of rewards and recognition and loyalty programs, promotions and prizes. So just like an above and beyond corporate gifting, like in terms of holiday gifting. So yeah, there's so many ways that the platform can be used and can help people, build better relationships, create really strong morale and retention of staff. So yeah, we're really excited about the corporate side and what we can do for it too.
Awesome. We've spoken a little bit about your inspiration for the platform. We've spoken about how it works today. Talk us through the process of building this, because this is obviously a big undertaking. You're a bit like me. You come from the marketing, branding type of world, but the actual execution part of this must have been a completely new, world for you. Talk us through how you've tackled that.
How much time do you have, Matt? Yeah, you are not wrong. Yeah, it was quite the undertaking, and I think continues to be, and I think will always be, quite the undertaking because, like you alluded to, I do not come from sort of a tech space. My background is branding and marketing. So when I thought to myself, am I really going to build a technology platform and without really having come from the space? But I think one of the things I'm enjoying the most about building a tech product is how much I'm learning. And some of the things I'm learning is, if you think something's going to take 2 weeks, then you make it 12 because often things don't work out exactly the way you want them to. But which I'm sure, which is in any business.
Any business,
anyway. So, you get those moments. But it has certainly been a big undertaking because I'm also a solo founder, so I wear all the hats. Yeah. And so I'm wearing, the product manager technology hat, and I'm wearing the CEO hat, and I'm wearing, the leader hat, the marketing hat. So I'm wearing, so it is certainly, quite the juggle, but one I'm really, really enjoying. It's just making me get super organised too, really.
Yeah. And on the marketing front, obviously, you've worked with countless clients and helping them market their own businesses. How has that changed applying those principles to your own business? What have you found? What's that taught you about being a marketer when you're doing it for your own business?
That is such a great question because I find this so ironic that I feel like I can look at any other brand and any other business and I can find a strategy and I can find the way and I can find the gaps really, really fast and build out remarkable marketing strategies for other clients and other brands. When it comes to my own, I find it far more difficult. I think 'cause I'm really close to it. I'm probably a bit more emotionally attached to it. Yep. And I think with any business owner, the self-doubt can creep in quite a bit. And I think you just go through these moments when, starting or building a business where, you're on fire and everything's going great and you've got all this momentum and then, I think it's inevitable and you have these sort of little moments in life where you go, am I doing that right? Is that the right way forward? Is that the correct decision? And I think sometimes we can overthink things. Yeah. And I'm human, so I think I get stuck in that spot too sometimes. I think what I'm learning and what I'm really grateful for is I'm learning how to get through those things quicker because I think the marketing side of owning a business is probably the hardest, it's the hardest part for me, ironically, like I said. Because it's so exposing, like a part of it's quite exposing too, like you're really putting yourself out there and that can be a really scary space.
It's really the point where, you've had this concept in your mind and I'm sure people will love it, but this is where you find out, well, do people actually love it and all that sort of stuff. That can be the sort of hard part, I guess, when it comes to marketing your own business and sort of the challenges that we find with our own, clients who are starting something from scratch. There's always this part where the rubber sort of meets the road and we're really testing are these concepts, these strategies that we thought would work, are they going to work and all this sort of stuff as well. And there's this sort of constant adjustment period. So we're sort of leading into Christmas now. So this is potentially a very exciting time for you. What sort of trends do you think we'll see in gift giving in Christmas? And, how can people go about using Gratofy to create a better gifting experience for their family and friends, do you think?
It's been really interesting to see how gifting is evolving and changing over time, especially coming into this year and this Christmas. Obviously with things that we know about sort of cost of living and other economic factors that are sort of going on. So, people are still gifting, but I think people are becoming a lot more conscious and a lot more considered about what they are gifting. So they might spend a little bit less on gifts this year, but they still want to give something meaningful to friends and family and businesses as well. Like we know there are some businesses that are looking at their budgets but still want to gift to show appreciation. So I think that's sort of one of the big ones that we're seeing in market at the moment. I think when people are gifting, they're also looking at practical gifts to give people, like things that people can actually use, things that people need in their lives to help with some of just the lifestyle changes and things going on. Yeah,
and like you said, budgets are tighter, so the idea of giving a gift that someone doesn't actually want is almost scarier now than maybe it has been in the past. Because it's like, if I'm going to part with my hard-earned on this gift, I really want to know that they're going to like it, they're going to appreciate it, they're going to use it. And it's not going to be one of those ones that ends up in the landfill that you spoke about or stuck on a gift card, one of that $1 billion and... What was it, $1 billion?
$1 billion.
Yeah, $1 billion just in gift cards, crazy, you know.
Yeah,
Think of,
it's
even for the
crazy.
businesses that have given out, you know, that have had the gift cards purchased for them, how much they'd, you know, like that to see back in the economy and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's so true.
All right, cool. So what else can you tell me about Gratofy? It's like, what's the sign-up process like? You know, is it just jump on the website? Where do we go to sign up?
Yeah. Actually, one thing I will mention, because sorry, I'll swing back to that, but because it's really interesting about sort of the loss of the waste of the gift card, right? So one of actually the things about Gratofy that I'm really proud of, but that we really believe in is because one of the questions I do get asked a lot is, you know, how sort of the payments managed, or you know, what happens if the gifts are all different price points, because you can have gifts in there that are from any category and any price point.
Yeah.
And so essentially, to give you like maybe the simplest example, if you're gifting through Gratofy and you have maybe one of your selections that's $100 and 4 of them, say, are a $50 gift, Gratofy will hold the $100, which is, you know, the highest price gift in the selection. But if somebody chooses the $50 gift, Gratofy refunds the difference.
Sure.
Because we don't want
it just stuck in a plate.
Yeah. And that's why sort of it goes back to that gift card thing. Like, even if you do give someone a gift card and they don't spend it all, no one sees it. You know, it kind of just goes...
It just goes missing.
It goes missing,
into the abyss.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And the sign-up process, so just on the website?
Yeah, so you could go to gratofy.com.au and just click Start Gifting Now, and that will take you through to the platform, and you can browse our gifts, like I said, by price point, by category, or by gifting occasion. Select the 5 gifts, put in the recipient details, and you're done.
Let's talk about the gifts quickly. I sort of skipped over that, but there were some pretty impressive brands on the website. So talk to me about what sort of gifts we might be able to pick for our friends, family, clients, etc.
Yeah, thanks. So we and we do have a lot of great gifts on the platform, and always building out. And always looking for wonderful brands to work with, and wonderful partners, so we can give people more of the gift of choice. We've got things like electronics, like Bose headphones. Like homewares, kitchenware, barbecue goods. With summer coming up, our barbecue products and our barbecue gifts are really, really popular. Skincare, hair care. Lovely things like stationery and things for work from home environments. So we've got a really wide selection that everyone can choose from, depending on people's preferences.
Perfect. Well, let's get stuck into our Valley faves, sort of our traditional closer for the show. I know that, you know, obviously you've moved around a bit and you've been away from the area for a bit, so but we'll go through these as best we can. So do you have a favourite coffee spot in the Moonee Valley?
Yeah, I'm going to say Aberfeldy Salumeria, I'm going to say. I think really solid coffee, wonderful food, family run. Like cool Southern Italian vibes. Like you kind of just, they feel like family, like you feel like you're at home there, and the coffee's great.
No one's mentioned that one yet, which I'm surprised by, because that is a very good spot. Did you have a favourite restaurant in the area?
I think a lot of your guests have a bit of trouble with this one,
Yeah,
don't they?
There's so many to choose from.
There is so many to choose from. I'm gonna say Penny Young, just because I think it's like great cocktails. I love meeting friends there for just a cheeky drink. Like really good food, like cool atmosphere, like nice vibe. Say that.
Did you have a favourite place to relax in Moonee Valley?
Can I say the Valley Racetrack?
Yes, absolutely.
I don't know if that's very relaxing half the time. I don't know if that's all overly relaxing, but I'm going to say the Valley.
Okay, perfect. And did you have a favourite Moonee Valley memory?
Favourite Moonee Valley memory? I'm going to say sort of those moments where, I was sort of going to, like I said, Viva Cafe over the years, and there was every Wednesday sort of everyone would all congregate there, no matter where they were coming from. Everyone would sort of just get there for lunch on a Wednesday. We'd all just catch up for the week, and I just have these really lovely, vivid memories of that was just the catch up spot. And I think it just talks to what a great community that the area fosters, and everyone kind of looks out for each other, even if they don't sort of see each other all the time. Sort of you're from the area, you're connected to the area. It's just a really lovely community vibe.
No, perfect. All right. Well, tell us how we've touched on how to sign up, but where can people find out more about Gratofy? What are the socials? Give us all that sort of info.
Yeah, so gratofy.com.au, and it's Gratofy,
Yeah.
not Gratify, Gratofy.
Gratofy, sorry.
No, that's all right.
Yeah.
Gratofy, and then, our Instagram handle is @Gratofy.
Yeah.
And we spend a little bit of time there, but and if anyone wants to get into contact about how we can help, hello@gratofy.com.au. We're always happy to answer any questions anyone has and help people out with their gifting.
Perfect. Well, Stefanie, thank you so much for joining me on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. And that's another episode of the Moonee Valley Voices in the books. We're always looking for new guests, so if you've got a great local story or a local business, maybe you're at one of the local sports clubs, I'd love to hear from you. Just get in touch with matt@contenthype.com.au and we'll talk to you next week. Thank you.